Chapter 16, Maino Building, corner of Higuera and Garden Streets. As of the late 1800s, Joe Maino had built fully one-third of the structures in San Luis Obispo. Until recently, the top floor of the Maino Building at the 1100 block of Garden Street was the home office for Maino Construction, San Luis Obispo's oldest commercial construction company. It was founded in 1881 by Joseph Maino. You should still be on the right side of Higuera Street as we continue south. Between Garden and Broad Streets, there's a popular restaurant called Novo. This is the site of an old cigar factory and the historic Union Meat Market, both established in the late 1800s. It's likely that the Maino family bought their meats and enjoyed a fine cigar at these popular places. Joseph Maino was born in the Novara province of Italy in 1850. There, he trained in carpentry and building, working his way up to superintendent of government construction. The work took him all over Europe and Africa. In 1877, Joe came to America, landing first in Eureka, California. He tried mining in Nevada, but a health problem drove him to sea. He eventually got a job as a ship's carpenter, sailing to China, Japan, South America, San Francisco, and finally down the coast to San Luis Obispo. His multi-generation, family-owned company has built 6 local elementary schools, the original downtown center, the county hospital, numerous buildings on the Cal Poly campus, and the first San Luis Obispo fire station. Maino Construction also built the Union Oil holding tanks, which at the time made up the largest oil storage depot in the world. Located on the south side of town, about 4 miles from where we stand, there were 19 tanks in all. Some were above ground, with several larger ones underground. Each held between 750,000 and 1,250,000 barrels. You can view photos of the underground tanks being constructed with the aid of horse-drawn equipment. The Union Oil workers nicknamed the project the Coliseum because, as these photos demonstrate, that's just what they look like. At 200 yards in diameter, these tanks were designed to hold 1.2 million barrels of oil. Only remnants of these vast underground tanks still remain today, but we still call that area Tank Farm Road, a reminder of one of the biggest natural disasters ever to hit this town. Here's what happened. In the early morning hours of April 7, 1926, a bolt of lightning struck 2 of the largest underground holding tanks. 15 minutes later, 2 more tanks were struck. The resulting fires burned uncontrolled for 17 hours, causing 4 more tanks to boil over. And by now, 14 of the total 19 tanks were engulfed. The ear-splitting explosion destroyed millions of barrels of oil as all of the tanks were full. The force of the explosion blew out windows and rattled homes all over San Luis Obispo, and its flames reached 200 feet into the sky. The intensity of the storm, coupled with the heat of the fire, created tornado-force winds, which drove debris through the walls of homes and even lifted some buildings right off their foundations. Eyewitnesses say that San Luis Creek turned into a river of flame. The smoke was so thick, it was said to blot out the sun, and it burned for 5 long days. In desperation, to prevent the fire from spreading further, the oil company emptied their pipelines into the ocean at Avila Beach, blanketing local shorelines with oil. Radio reports said the smoke could be seen over 150 miles away in Fresno. The damage caused was estimated to be $15 million, a large enough sum today and a monumental loss in 1926. The tank farm area land is still contaminated to this day. Maino Construction survived, however, and today the 5th generation of Mainos still runs the company. Since Joe's arrival in 1881, the Maino family and the company he founded have helped to shape this city for more than 125 years. We'll cross Higuera Street now to the Maino Building and look back across the street at the little green awning with some familiar stonework. Familiar because it's another Horatio Warden building.